Hey, it is 12 noon on Wednesday for the 53rd time, the 52nd time. We've been doing this every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern time for 1 year now, every Wednesday for an hour. And you can access all these previous episodes. I'll tell you how during the show today. But what we've been doing for the past year is helping you get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry to make you a better realtor, a better real estate professional, a more savvy home purchaser, a more savvy real estate investor. We've got a lot of people watching this show for a lot of different reasons. We love doing it. We love helping spread the good word of real estate. And if you guys have questions on any of this stuff, as always, this is a live stream. This is a live show. You can live chat your questions into us, whether that's through Instagram, through Facebook, through YouTube, or through our Success Center at tampaschool.com/success. We're coming to you for the 1 year special of Ask the Instructor. Stick with us. We've got a great show for you.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. I'm John Chrismo. Oh, you're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome to the 1 year episode, the 53rd episode or 52nd episode or whatever number it is that we're up to, that we've been doing this now for 1 year. I think this is actually our 53rd. It's a little over a year, maybe. No, I think maybe it's 52. I don't know. We've been doing this since last December, every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time, to help you get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry. These complex topics that not only could be things that show up on your real estate license exams. We've had a lot of people, and just kind of reflecting back on 1 year of Ask the Instructor and how many people it is that we've helped get a better understanding of this stuff. We've gotten comments and messages and emails and phone calls and all kinds of stuff from people that have used these videos to help pass their real estate exams, that have used these to get a better understanding of how to better position their business, to get a better understanding of how to maybe get into one of these more specialized niches like commercial real estate or real estate development or anything like that. There's a lot of different episodes with a lot of different topics, really 52 different topics now, with an hour long for each one of these. Now, the best place to find any of these previous episodes after today's show, of course, is at tampaschool.com/success. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. That's our Success Center. This is where we designed this and we created this to go above and beyond of just what it is that you're learning in the pre-licensing courses, as well as your post-licensing courses, or broker licensing, or broker post-licensing, or continuing education, or any of these required courses. Those are just the tip of the iceberg. And, starting off brand new in real estate, it feels overwhelming sometimes when you're making this transition to a field that you're required to learn some information about, but again, it's just the tip of the iceberg. And now a lot of the other stuff starts coming in, and you start wondering about, well, how do you do this, or how do you do that, or what's the best way to do this? And so that's why we created this Success Center. It's our way to help you plan for your success in the real estate industry. That's the best way for us to put it. So again, I'll put that link up here for you guys. It's tampaschool.com/success. tampaschool.com/success, all lowercase for that. If you also go to tampaschoolrealestate.com and under resources, you could click on Success Center through that as well. But that's the best place to find all these videos, and what you could actually do is drop your email in there, and you'll get live notifications through your email whenever it is that we do go live. So that way, if you guys have any questions, you could send them in to us. We started this really as a way to help our existing students, but then we found out that not only our existing students were benefiting from this show, but also our previous students, as well as people that were looking to enroll in real estate courses, benefited from watching these videos. So if you've had any of these episodes in particular that have impacted you, that have helped you, we'd love to hear about that, as well as if you guys have any questions about anything real estate related, send that in to the live chat here. That really kind of helps shape our show, where we could kind of really tailor this to our viewers that are currently watching. And of course, if you're watching the recording of this, always send in your questions to us, because we've had a lot of episodes that have stemmed from some sort of email or message or something it is that we've gotten while a show isn't live. So definitely send that stuff in. But what it is that I want to do today, in the spirit of Ask the Instructor and doing, math and some technical stuff and things like that, I want to go over some of the most important topics that you'll want to know going into real estate. Now, some of these things, they're important because they're very likely to show up on your exam, and other of these things are going to be very important because if you want to be successful in real estate, you need to understand this. And now, the number one thing I want to talk about first is the business plan. So this is one of the most important things to really understand going into real estate, and for a few different reasons. Even if you've already taken the course or if you haven't taken the course yet, you should start figuring out, this whole kind of business plan thing. And look, I'm not trying to tell you to do anything in depth, not anything like if you went to business school, I went to business school and I had to write business plans in there, and those things were a joke for the most part, because typically a business plan is designed to impress investors or maybe impress your clients. Well, look, you don't want to pull out a business plan for your clients, your sellers and buyers. What they're interested in is how are you going to help them as a seller or buyer, not how you're doing these activities to make money. That's what your business plan is for. But now, why this is so important for you, and really this is something that you need to revisit every single day, that as you work in real estate and as you get your license and as you're learning more and you're seeing how it is that your business works and understanding your individual business, that's where you make adjustments to this business plan. But you really use this as your map, as your guidebook, as your guiding light that tells you, okay, this is what you need to do today to make sure you have business tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day, and so on and so forth. So the business plan, now this is very important once you do have your license and you're ready to make money, but it's never too early to start planning for your success. And now, as we go through these different topics here, these are all episodes that we've done of Ask the Instructor previously. We've actually done a couple episodes about the business plan as well as on state of real estate. So when you go to tampaschool.com/success, these are the things that I want you to search for to get to understand these things a little bit better. With the business plan, we've got a couple episodes. If you just type that in, we've got a great little search box on our Success Center. So you want to search for business plan. You'll be able to find a few things, and one of those items is a business plan calculator. Because look, this isn't something that should be difficult. This really isn't something you should really have to spend more than an hour like we spent going through on Ask the Instructor. And really, that's a little bit of overkill to really understand what it is that you're doing with this business plan calculator. And that's why we created this interactive calculator tool that you could use, and it's available right at tampaschool.com/success. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to put your email in there. It's free for anyone that wants to go on that website until our servers start crashing, because we've got too many people on there, but we've got some pretty strong servers. So go ahead and check that out. It's our business plan calculator. Now, even if you haven't taken the course yet, even if you're just thinking about a career in real estate, by working with this calculator, and really that's the main thing that I want to recommend that you check out, the calculator aspect of this. By working with this calculator, you're able to kind of plug in some numbers and start playing around with the numbers and understand what type of efforts it is that you have to do to get this type of success, to get this much income, to get this much houses sold, to how many appointments you have to have, and really kind of understanding the sales process and why this is important, even if you haven't taken the course yet. Because a lot of you might say, well, John, isn't it important that I go take the course, that I learn the laws, then I'm able to pass the exam, then I worry about how I'm going to make money? Look, in real estate, you're taking this course, you're taking your license exam to make money. Now, unless you're like some sort of millionaire or billionaire or somebody who doesn't need money and you just want to get the real estate license, just because you want to serve the people, I've yet to meet that person. And even in that case, you need money to be able to fund. Even if we take out, if you want to work as a nonprofit and not take any salary yourself, which you're probably not the case, but even in that situation, you still need money to pay for the service it is that you're providing, to pay for different things when you're marketing listings, to pay for the marketing when you're assisting by when you close a sale, to be able to get the buyers some sort of gift to show them a little bit of a thank you for using you and all that type of stuff. So but like most people, you're getting a real estate license to make money. And now as you go through the pre-licensing course, so the pre-licensing course that you need to get your real estate license, it's mandated by the Florida Real Estate Commission. And the topics it is that you need to be taught are also mandated by the Florida Real Estate Commission. So we try to make this as exciting as possible, but a lot of that stuff can be some very dry laws. They could be some topics that aren't very interesting. And when you've ever felt like giving up and losing hope and saying, oh, you know what, this isn't for me, this is too difficult, this isn't for me, this doesn't seem like, this wasn't what I was signing up for, I don't want to have to learn this stuff, that's where you could refer back to this business plan calculator. And you could get a little bit of dose of motivation, because nothing motivates like seeing what's possible. If you think of motivation for anything, even non-money related things, you're motivated for what's possible. If you can't see what's possible, it's very difficult to be motivated. And this business plan calculator allows you to see what is possible, and it allows it to make it real. It allows it for you to understand the details, because that's what makes this real. If you just want to get your real estate license because you heard you can make over $100,000 in a year, you had a friend that made over $100,000 in a year, or somebody that you knew, or you see the people that market like crazy as real estate professionals, and you must say, wow, they're making a ton of money. That's good. That kind of piques your interest. But when the going starts to get tough, this is where it's going to start to slow you down if you don't really understand and you can't really sink your teeth into what's possible. So that business plan calculator is a great motivational tool that you could go in and actually start using and playing with the numbers, and you could start to get a realistic idea of, based on how much work you put in, how much income it is that you could expect to get out of that. And what's also great about this, because this should be something that you start before you're even taking the courses, and as you're taking the course to kind of keep you motivated and keep you excited about this, and then once you have your license to guide your business. And as you'll find that because this is interactive, you could change out these numbers. You could increase or decrease the percentages. So as you maybe become more skilled in closing appointments or closing contracts or whatever that may be, the different steps in this business plan, you could adjust that and change that so you still understand, okay, well, this is the accurate and it's real, and you can still kind of sink your teeth into it. So this is something that should be with you from the beginning until you now have your real estate license and you're out there practicing till you've been in real estate for 25, 30 years and you're still revisiting this. You'll eventually get to the point where you don't need our calculator to do the math, because the math really isn't that difficult, but when you're brand new to real estate, it's very easy to leave out certain steps and leave out certain parts. So this calculator will really help you out with that. Now, we've got some more things that I recommend you check out at our Success Center to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of Ask the Instructor, of understanding the technical side of the real estate industry. If you're just tuning in, my recommendation is, again, go to tampaschool.com/success. That's our Success Center. This is where we help you plan for your success. First thing I recommend you check out is our business plan, especially the business plan calculator. Just go into the search box, type in business plan, and you'll be able to see the business plan calculator. You'll be able to see a few episodes we did that explain how that math is kind of worked out there, because that is a very essential part of this. But there's other things that I do want to talk about that's important to your success in real estate, not just in getting your license, but also making money in real estate. We're going to talk about that after this short commercial break, so stick with us. I'm John Kersimer. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. Oh, you're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, 12 noon Eastern Time, every Wednesday for the past year. We've been coming to you live to help you get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry. And we've got a lot of content that's out there and available for you, so much so that, and we get questions all the time of people where they'll ask us particular questions, and we've already got an Ask the Instructor or a State of Real Estate episode to say, hey, look, you want an hour explanation of this topic? Go right here to this link. So there's a lot of that that's available, but a lot of it, kind of gets hidden in the weeds just because we have so much content that's out there. So today, to celebrate 1 year of Ask the Instructor, what I'm doing is giving you guys important topics it is that I want you guys to search for on our Success Center. If you go to tampaschool.com/success, that's our Success Center where we help you plan for your success in the real estate industry. And these are the topics that you want to check out. Now, so far, what we've talked about are number one, the business plan, which this is super important, and this is more of a real world topic with it. A little bit less important for the exam, but something that you want to look at and practice with and work with and get an understanding to help you get the motivation to help you get through the course, whether it's the online course, the classroom course, or maybe you're studying for your state exam. Use that business plan to sink your teeth into what is possible and make that possibility more and more real. And now you just got to close the gap of getting that real estate license, and then you're able to start executing your business plan and go out there and start making some money. So that's something very important, whether you're brand new to real estate or whether you've been practicing real estate for a while. Everyone needs a business plan, and anything too fancy like you see at colleges and universities where you're writing this big 50-page document. No, this could be a simple one-pager type of deal where it's just kind of giving you an overview of, okay, you've got to do these activities to get this amount of income. And it really should be simple. The simpler and shorter it is, the better, the more likely it is you're going to execute it. You make something big, huge, like 50, 20, 10 pages long even, that's not something that you want to look at every day. That's not something that you're going to be excited about. It's got to be short, it's got to be sweet, and it's got to say, hey, go do this thing so that way you could go make some money. And that's what our calculator as well is. There's a few things. Just search for business plan. You can find quite a few things. Now, I want to also, because we get a lot of people that watch Ask the Instructor for studying for the exams, and we've done a lot of Ask the Instructor episodes on some particular exam topics, and I want to kind of point out a couple of them that are very likely to show up on your exam. So one of those first ones, and this is stuff that you also want to understand in the real world as well, but it's a little bit more important for the exam because that's when you really need to know how to do these calculations and whatnot. So the second thing I would recommend is checking out doc stamps, and also called transfer taxes. Doc stamps and transfer taxes. So this is something that's very likely, a very likely piece of math that it's really not that complex. It seems complex when you first start learning this and understanding it and working with doc stamps and transfer taxes, but they're really not that bad once you know what it is that you do with this. And the more it is that you practice the math, we've done a lot of Ask the Instructor episodes working with different types of math, but one of the ones very extremely likely to show up on your exams are doc stamps and transfer taxes. So that's something very likely to show up if you're studying for an exam. And even if you're doing post-licensing, you typically see the transfer taxes and whatnot when it comes up with closing statements for post-licensing and even broker licensing. So doc stamps and transfer taxes, and this is something you're going to see on every single transaction it is that you're working with. So you don't have to, in the real world, you don't have to know it as in depth as figuring all these calculations out. There's a lot of calculators online for this. The title company will basically be doing this preparation of all the closing documents for you in the real world. And But it does help out if you're trying to help a buyer or a seller get an understanding of how much money it is they'll have to pay, especially for a buyer, because it's not just the down payment or the sale price of the property it is that they're paying for at closing. That's probably the biggest portion of this. But on top of their down payment, on top of the purchase price of the property, they'll have some transfer taxes and typically dock stamps, especially if it's a financed transaction. There's going to be dock stamps that the buyer has to pay. So not only is this something that you do see in the real world, but this is something you'll need to be able to calculate out on your real estate license exam. So we've got a couple of videos, as well as, I think we've only got videos on these on our Success Center, but if you search for dock stamps or transfer taxes, that's one of the key pieces of math that you need to know in order to get that question right on your exam. That's something very likely to show up on your exam. Now, another thing, I want to switch back into the real-world topics here, because we started off talking about the business plan calculator. That's essential for the real world to really get you the motivation as you're going through the licensing process, but also once you have your license to give you your game plan of how to execute to earn the income it is that you're desiring in real estate. So that business plan calculator, it's very flexible, it's very interactive, very easy to work with. Definitely make sure you check out that. The dock stamps and transfer taxes, super important if you're trying to pass your real estate exam. But another one that, this is getting more into the real world stuff here. You really won't see this at all on your exam either, just like the business plan. That's not going to show up on your license exam. But now with the business plan, it requires you to do a certain amount of action because anytime it is that you want to earn some sort of money, you have to take some sort of action. That's really the least common denominator for any time you earn money, some actions occurring. If you're trying to, let's say, close some sort of real estate transaction, you have to have a client first. And what do you do if you don't have a client? You either market to get a client or you go out prospecting looking for a client. And so it's important to understand these different activities it is that you can do to attract clients. And one of those activities that is the most highly recommended by myself as well as a lot of other people in real estate to start practicing your not only people skills and communication skills, but also your showing house skills. And that's through doing open houses. And we've done a few episodes on open houses. So when you're new to real estate, open houses are key. And then also, before I forgot, I almost already did forget, we got a question coming in for Zandur Rahman. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Bangladesh. Can you do the real estate exam? You can absolutely do our online course, but now for getting your Florida real estate license, you'll have to go to one of the testing facilities. There's a bunch of them throughout the country of the United States. I don't think there are any internationally except for on military bases. So maybe if there's some sort of U.S. military base close by, you might be able to do the examination there. But you could absolutely get through the entire online course. If you're just trying to learn about real estate, definitely check out the online course. You could do that from anywhere in the world. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, and thanks for tuning in. But back to open houses. So this is a great way, and it's a great way to practice getting comfortable in your real estate skin. Because a lot of times when you go get your real estate license, even if you've been in sales before, even if you've been in customer service before, even if you've been in these fields where you interact with people and you communicate with people directly, you'll kind of feel awkward and you'll feel like you don't know what you're doing when you're first getting started in real estate. And it's easy to make mistakes in real estate, so you want to definitely practice a lot so you don't have those mistakes, because mistakes, they're good learning experiences, but you want to make them as few as possible so that way you help generate the most amount of referral business and so on and so forth. So the open houses are a great way to not only start finding clients, and I'll talk about briefly how, because you definitely want to check out, we've got a few episodes of Ask the Instructor and State of Real Estate on open houses, because they're a great way for new agents to get started. Let's talk about a couple of the reasons why the open houses are so great. So the ways you could go about finding clients, there's a few different ways. The strategy that most people think of first and foremost when they're thinking about getting in real estate is marketing themselves and just marketing themselves. And marketing is great. Marketing is fantastic. I am marketing's biggest fan and biggest advocate of marketing, but marketing is not something that's going to get you business on day one. This is something that's going to get you business down the road. So it is very important to your real estate business, but marketing isn't something that you're going to do as soon as you have your license and just start marketing. Unless you're not planning on actually closing any deals until 8 months, 12 months down the road, then you don't want to immediately just jump into the marketing. And more importantly, marketing is expensive. You already have other expenses of obtaining licensing, taking the courses, getting MLS access, joining the Association of Realtors, and getting name badges and all kinds of stuff like that. You'll have all these expenses. And then on top of that, to market for new business, that's going to take you a while. So to help pay these bills of you getting your license and actually start, because the easiest way to become unmotivated about real estate is not making any money. It's great when you're making money, but if you're not making any money, you start to think, oh, well, real estate's stupid. This isn't something for me. It must not be right for me. No, it's not that it's just not right for you. It's just that you're not comfortable in doing the things that are going to generate you business today and help you earn income today. So that's marketing, where you're looking at the long term. When you're looking at the short term of how to get business now, how to get clients now, and it really kind of throw you into the deep end almost of, hey, you're working into a transaction, just got your license a week ago, and now you're out there trying to close a deal. And we've had that happen with a lot of our students, but the way that's done is through prospecting, not marketing. Marketing and prospecting, and I've talked about this a lot of times, are two completely different things. They could be harmonious and work together like the yin and the yang thing, but they're two completely different things. Marketing is trying to get people to chase after you. Prospecting is chasing after them. Now, open houses are great because it's kind of like a hybrid of the two of these, because a couple of the ways that you could prospect for business to try to find business today is by picking up the phone and just calling people that are maybe expired listings trying to take on a new listing, or maybe people that are interested in buying some. There's a lot of different phone lists you could get, but a lot of people are skittish about talking over the phone, and I don't blame you, because cold calling over the phone to somebody, or even warm calling people when you're not dealing face to face, it makes the communication so much more difficult. It can be very effective, but you have to have 110% communication skills to be able to effectively transmit your message across the phone. And you have to really practice that and drill that in. Great way to find clients, and it really kind of takes the traveling aspect out of this, so you could get some new clients fairly quickly just by making some phone calls. But that's not always something new agents are excited about. So I understand, and it's something that you really want to get comfortable in your real estate skin before you start doing anything like that. Another way is door knocking, going through a neighborhood and saying, hey, I'm the real estate specialist in the area, just want to take a minute to introduce myself. You mind if I ask you how long you've been living here? Okay, and you start building the conversation that way. But now this is another one where you're chasing after them. So now open houses, it's a little bit of a hybrid, and this is why I recommend this so much when you're first getting started in real estate. Number one, because they can be very inexpensive. You can get crazy with an open house and, have it catered and have bounce houses for the kids and really throw a huge open house extravaganza that really gets people interested to coming and checking out the open house. But that's not anything you need to do in your first open houses, or really your first year of open houses, or even ever for open houses. The open houses are effective if you do a little bit of marketing for them, and that marketing could just be dropping off flyers at the neighbors' houses. It could just be maybe making some posts about it online, maybe not even promoting these posts, maybe posting it on Craigslist, in the MLS system. That gives you the possibility to market the open houses in there. So there's a lot of free ways that you can market the open houses and get people to come to the open house. So that really takes a lot out of the equation that you're having with making the cold calls or door knocking, because a lot of times you're talking to people that aren't necessarily interested in what it is that you're coming to speak to them about. But when they're now coming to the open house, they're interested in seeing this property. They're interested in seeing what's going on. Even if they're just a nosy neighbor, they're interested in open houses. They're interested in real estate. And who's the most knowledgeable real estate expert in the house at the time? Well, that should be you. So open houses are something that's great because you've got the people, you've got the audience coming to you, and now it's your chance to shine and kind of, reel them in. And even if it's a nosy neighbor, this nosy neighbor, the reason why they're wasting their time to show up at this open house is probably not just because they want to eat your food. It's because, they're thinking about selling their house. It might not be for a year or 2 years or 3 years. but they're thinking about selling their house and they want to get to understand, okay, well, what is an open house like? What does our house have to look like on the inside if we want to be able to sell it? And that's what you have to understand about these people, and you've got to be able to kind of almost categorize them right from the beginning of, okay, welcome to the open house. Are you from the neighborhood here? And if they say yes, okay, great, yeah, where do you live? And you start striking up the conversation with them about that. But if they're not, if they're out of town and they're kind of visiting because they need to buy a house, that's a hot lead for you there. They're probably not going to buy that open house. And open houses, just in case you go Google, our open house is a good way to sell real estate. You'll find that the National Association of Realtors says that less than 1% of houses sell as a result of an open house. So why do you go and do the open house? You do the open house to find the people that are interested in buying a house or interested in selling a house in the neighborhood. And that's why you go and pass out the flyers throughout the neighborhood to try to get the neighbors there, so that way you could list their property for sale and then also find some buyers at the open house. And by the end of the day at this open house, if you've done your open house correctly, you should have at least one client. At least one client you should gain from every single open house, if not more. Really, every single person that you have walking into that house, unless they're there with a realtor, or they've already got an agreement with a realtor and the realtor just couldn't be there, but they're really close to the realtor, that's really the only time that you can't make that person coming into your open house a client or future potential client. So open houses are huge, and what you're doing in this process, not only are you picking up buyer and seller leads, you're also getting comfortable in real estate. You're making yourself comfortable with talking about houses, comfortable with talking about your services, talking about how you could benefit that particular buyer or seller in real estate. So open houses, that's definitely something huge. Again, this is another real world topic that you can find on our Success Center. If you're just tuning in, what we're doing today is we're celebrating 1 year of Ask the Instructor, and we've done a lot of episodes over the past year. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we're doing one of these episodes. They're all available at tampaschool.com/success. You can find a lot of great information about all these different aspects of real estate, all these things. And what I'm trying to do today is point out the most important ones that I would say, hey, look, if you're new to real estate, if you're new to Ask the Instructor, or maybe you're not new to Ask the Instructor, but if you haven't seen these episodes, this is where you need to go to tampaschool.com/success. Search for business plans, search for doc stamps and transfer taxes. If you're studying for your license exam, search for open houses and get to understand the open house and how you can monetize and make money off of that. And we've got a few other topics that I do want to point out to you guys, but before we do that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, our 1 year special of Ask the Instructor. That's right, we've been doing Ask the Instructor for over 1 year now, helping our viewers, our past students, our current students, and our future students get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry, because this is a very technical industry. What we've been going through today are the topics that Whether you're brand new to Ask the Instructor and brand new to Tampa School of Real Estate and brand new to John Christopher and brand new to everything it is that we bring to the table, these are the things you absolutely want to check out first. And we've got a lot of other great episodes you can find at our Success Center, and great articles, and we've got this interactive calculator for the business plan, and so many things. So what we've been doing is kind of highlighting today to celebrate the 1 year of doing this, the 52 or 53. We've got to go back and count those and find out how many exactly it is that we've got now. I think this is the 53rd episode now of Ask the Instructor. But if you're brand new or if you've seen the shows before, make sure you've checked out our business plan. Our business plan calculator, just search at tampaschool.com/success. There's a little search right up in the top right-hand side. You just type in these different keywords, and you'll find episodes about it. You'll find articles. You'll find interactive calculators and all kinds of stuff like that to help you understand this technical side of the real estate industry. So the business plan calculator, the number one thing I'd recommend that you check out, whether you're brand new to real estate and you haven't taken a course yet or anything, that's going to give you the motivation you need to get through this whole process. And then more importantly, once you have your license, this is going to be your guide, your map, your plan for your success of what activities it is that you need to execute to go out there and make some money. So business plan calculator, super important. Second one we've got here, because we've got a lot of people that tune into these shows to study for your real estate exams, and they're great if you want a very thorough understanding, especially if you're the type of person that likes to know every last detail of something, and once you know every last detail, everything seems to click. These Ask the Instructor episodes going to be better for these topics that we've got here. And one of the topics that, excuse me, I can almost guarantee that you're going to see on your exams, you might get lucky and not see this on your exams, but that's doc stamps and transfer taxes. Very, very likely to show up on your exams. Like I said, I almost guarantee that's going to show up on your exams. And not just for sales associates, but also if you're looking to get your broker license, you're probably going to see something about doc stamps and transfer taxes in some way, shape, or form on your exam. So we've got a couple episodes on that. Very important, something you want to check out if you're studying for your license exams. But now moving back into the real world side of things, open houses. They're a great way, whether you're brand new to real estate or you've been in real estate for a while and you just need to go find some clients right now, people that want to buy right now at this moment in time. Marketing is great. Marketing is very important for your long-term success. That really helps automate a lot of this, where the people become chasing after you rather than you chasing after them, like you're doing to a certain extent with the open houses. But they're a great way as a new agent, because as a new agent, you don't want to just dive right into marketing unless you're planning on waiting 8 months to a year to get any sort of business. And yes, the marketing is a very long-term strategy. You have to have so many repetitions, so many times where people are seeing you before they start to really get an understanding of what it is that you do and what your services are and why it is that they should choose you. So marketing is very long-term, whereas open houses, you've got people walking in there and you've got face-to-face time where you could show them, hey, look, I'm a real estate professional. I'm the most professional person you're going to find. I'm very knowledgeable. I know so much about real estate. You want to say this a little bit more eloquently. You just don't want to start spouting off things like this, but that's the point you're trying to get across when you're communicating with them, so that they see you as not only a knowledgeable person, but a trustworthy person that they want representing them in the purchasing or sale of their home. Or maybe they're looking to buy investment properties or whatever it is that they're doing. Open houses are a great way to get people right there where you could kind of convince them and persuade them right in person why you're the person they should be using. So open houses, very effective tool for gaining new clients. Now, I want to talk about another one that's very likely to show up on your exam. And this is something also in the real world that you're going to see quite a bit of as well. Pretty much every transaction, unless you're dealing with churches or nonprofits, that's probably the only time you're not going to see these. And that's property taxes. And this is important to know, and there's a few things on property taxes. There's calculating the property taxes with homestead exemptions. There's property tax prorations. So property taxes are a big part of not only the license exam, but also the real estate business. Now, again, I'm going to categorize this as another thing that you definitely want to check out if you're trying to pass a license exam. But even if you already have your license, this is still something it is that you want to understand. So that way, again, because your goal is to be the knowledgeable expert with your clients. but it is definitely more important for your license exams, I would say. But very likely to show up on there. If you go to tampaschool.com/success and search for property taxes, we've got a few episodes about property taxes for calculating property tax prorations, homestead exemptions, how the property taxes are calculated. We've done a lot of episodes of Ask the Instructor. There's over 50 hours of Ask the Instructor and another 50 hours about, I think we're almost up to a year now. We did State of Real Estate. We started that right after Ask the Instructor, but also of Mastermind and Growing Your Real Estate Business. So that's definitely one it is that you want to check out. The property tax, everything. Prorations, calculations, whatever it may be. And why this is important also for the real world, not only on your exam, because this is another topic that in some way is probably going to show up on your license exams. Even if you're going to get your broker license or post-licensing or even continuing education, whenever they update the laws, that makes its way into continuing education. So you're very likely to see that in the education and necessary information side of things, but also you're going to see this in every single transaction. Again, unless it's a church or a nonprofit or some sale that's completely tax exempt, one church selling to another church, but very unlikely that's the type of real estate it is that you're going to be dealing with, just because there aren't many of those transactions that actually go through. So in the real world, you're going to see in almost every transaction property taxes. And there's a few reasons why this is important to know as a knowledgeable real estate professional. Number one is the proration aspect of this. So when you search for property taxes, you'll see a couple episodes on prorations. And with a property tax proration, what you're doing, so property taxes, they're billed on an annual basis. The lien gets filed on January 1st, and the first time they can become payable is on November 1st. So a majority out of the year, all except for 2 months out of the year, there's going to be unpaid property taxes on a property. And unless we're buying a property on January 1st or on December 31st, we really have to come up with a fair way to be able to split up the property taxes, and that's what the prorations do. And this is something involved in every transaction. So as a buyer, what the property tax proration means to you is that you're going to get a credit. You're going to be receiving money from the unpaid property taxes. If the property taxes have not yet been paid, the bad news is, as a buyer, you're going to be stuck with a full year's bill. But the good news is you're actually going to get a credit at the time of closing, which might help offset some of those extra costs that you'll have at the time of closing. Depending on when this is in the year, if we're dealing with a transaction that's closing in like January, February, March, very early in the year, that's going to be a very large amount that's being credited to the buyer, that's being given to the buyer at closing, and it's being paid by the seller. So on the flip side, if you're working with the seller, it's important for them to understand that, hey, in addition to when you sell your property, because a lot of times the sellers, when they're selling the property, all they're thinking about is, okay, my house, we're going to sell it for $300,000. My outstanding loan balance is $250,000. I'm going to walk away with $50,000. Woohoo, right? No, not so much. Well, if they want to use us, they're going to have that commission in there. And even if they weren't using us to help list their home, they're probably going to have to pay a commission to whatever brokerage brings the buyer, and they're going to end up probably getting less than $300,000. So it would only make sense for them to use you. And again, you kind of demonstrate your importance to the transaction by the knowledge it is that you have that they do not have, not in a condescending way, but in a way that shows, okay, wow, yeah, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. I obviously need you in my transaction because you understand this process start to finish. So that proration, this is money that the seller's going to have to pay. They might be thinking, oh, I'm going to sell my property before I pay the property taxes. That way I'll get away not having to pay property taxes. Oh, got him. No, not so much, because the closing company is going to calculate out what that proration is, and you could come up with an estimation of what that number is based on the different days it may close. The prorations are a very easy calculation to be done, and not only is this important for your license exams, but again, in these real-world scenarios. So this is really license exams and real-world. You'll find a lot of this stuff here. Even if it's on your exam and it's something you think you're never going to see in the real world, there's probably going to be some point in time where you see this and you have to know this maybe a little bit more in depth. It's not going to be an everyday occurrence, but especially with something like property taxes, this is something involved in every single transaction. And to avoid your seller being disappointed when they sell their property, and you might say, John, why would they be disappointed when they sell their property? They're selling the property, right? Well, how many times have you counted on some money coming in and you don't get that full money? Pretty disappointing, right? If you're expecting $50,000 and you end up with $30,000, would you be a little disappointed? You bet you would be. And that's why it's important to advise our clients on, hey, in addition to the mortgage payoff, we've got the commission for the real estate professionals involved in the transaction. We've got the property tax proration because the property taxes aren't paid, so they're going to make you pay your fair share of the property taxes. We've got this much for the homeowners association, this much for the interest maybe on something is being assumed. There's a lot of different expenses that could factor in on top of just the mortgage payoff, and that's usually the only thing the seller's thinking of when they're going to sell their property. So by going to them up front at the listing appointment, starting to get an understanding that, hey, it's not probably going to be $50,000. That's the money it is that we have to work with before we start factoring in these expenses. And once that's all said and done, you're able to walk away with about $30,000 if we could sell it at this price. But if we sell it at this price, you're able to walk away with, let's say, $20,000. And you're doing this math to help them get an understanding of how much it is that they're going to be able to get out of the property. And if that doesn't work for them, it doesn't work out. The last thing you want to do as a real estate professional, as an ethical real estate professional, is you don't want to put somebody out of their home when they don't have enough money to go buy a new home. Basically making people homeless. Your job is not to make people homeless, it's to put people in homes. So by coming to them up front and running these calculations and running these numbers and understanding what these numbers are so you know that this is at least going to be somewhat accurate, we're at least in the ballpark of what it is, and if you really know what these are, you could probably overestimate it a little bit just so you know, worst case scenario, this is how much you're able to walk away with on the property. When you're up front with them about this, they'll trust you and appreciate you a whole lot more. But you're going to find sometimes where it's not appropriate for them to sell their home. They might not have enough equity to pay off all these expenses and still be able to sell their home. Maybe it's now you're in the position of doing a short sale, but maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe you're not qualified to do that, and that's okay. If they're not ready to sell, or maybe you're not the qualified person to assist them with a short sale or something, well, obviously you could go get qualified and find out how to work with short sales. I mean, nothing really that requires any special licensing, but it does require special expertise to work with, say, a short sale. So you could go partner maybe with somebody or team up with somebody that is an expert in short sales and say, hey, let's split the commission on this one because they need to short sale it. Or maybe they just want to wait it out. They're like, oh, well, let's wait a couple of years and see if our house goes up in value. We'll keep paying down our mortgage balance and then, maybe we'll think about selling then. And in this case, you have somebody that's not very motivated about selling the property, which is okay. It's not your job to make them motivated about selling. It's your job to professionally advise them and be a trusted person, because what you're doing is you're establishing a relationship. This is very much a relationship-based business, and by establishing this relationship with them, along the couple of years while they're waiting to sell their home, if you're maintaining good contact with them and you've got a good relationship with them, they'll recommend you to their friends and family. They'll tell their friends and family, they'll say, hey, look, before you talk to anyone, this guy, he'll really tell you, this guy, this girl, they'll really tell you what you need to know. They're not just trying to sell your home. We asked him to sell our home, and he said, no, we can't do it because we don't have enough. And he ran us through the numbers, and it's a good thing he did, because otherwise we would have been homeless. So this guy's going to make sure you don't end up homeless and make sure that it really, you're showing that you care about them. And that goes a long way for your referral business. It goes a long way for your repeat business, and it really helps you build your long-term success in the real estate industry. So property taxes, not only important for your license exams, but also important to understand the proration aspect of this for the real world, as well as the other expenses that are tied to a sale, so you could be that knowledgeable professional that people are paying you to be in real estate. We've got a few other topics that I do want to point out of our 1-year anniversary of Ask the Instructor. We've been doing this for 1 year, 12 noon Eastern Time, every Wednesday. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, make sure you go to tampaschool.com/success and drop your email address in there. You'll be able to get updates in your email every time it is that we go live, so that way you don't miss a single episode of Ask the Instructor, or also State of Real Estate, or any of the other videos it is that we do to help you understand and grow your real estate business. So definitely subscribe to that. Subscribe on YouTube or Facebook if you use those as well, so that way you can find it through there, because you'd be surprised how many times you miss an email, and you don't want to have to miss any of this stuff that we're doing live here. So definitely like us on there. We thank you guys for tuning in today, but we're not done yet. We'll be back after this short commercial break. I'm John Cursimo. This show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. You're watching the 1-year anniversary of Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Cursimo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Cursimo, and this show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live, and we've been doing that now for 1 year. This is our 1-year celebration of Ask the Instructor. And what we're doing today is kind of recapping some of the top episodes that you need to go check out if you're new to Ask the Instructor, even if you've been watching us before, to make sure that you've seen these topics because they are important. Now, the last one it is that I want to end on today is listing appointments. And I think you want to press search just for listing appointment, just because I don't know if that S is going to throw off the search thing. It probably doesn't, but listing appointments. Why is this important? Why is this a topic that I recommend that you check out? So the National Association of Realtors puts out a statistic that on average, it takes 3 times the amount of time, specifically 24 hours of working time to close a buyer compared to 8 hours of working time to close a seller. So that's a big discrepancy. You could close 3 sellers in the amount of time it takes you to close 1 buyer. And how much would you get paid on 3% of a $300,000 sale for a buyer? About $9,000. How much would you be paid for a $300,000 sale representing the seller with a 3% commission? Also about $9,000. So you're not making different amounts of money. It's the commissions that you're seeing that are out there today. It's always negotiated between the buyer and seller and the broker, but it's usually the same amount that you're getting paid for representing a seller and also representing a buyer. And if there's any time where you'd probably be paid more, it's probably for representing a seller rather than representing the buyer. And it's really the seller that agrees to pay this commission in the first place. So listing appointments are how you find these, how you secure and lock in these seller contracts. The listing is listing a property available for sale. And when you're listing a property available for sale, you've gone through and you've got an agreement with the seller that they're going to pay X amount of commission, whatever that agreement it is that you come to for the percentage of commission. You would get a certain portion of that, usually half, and the buyer's agent would also get the other half, or whatever the other agreed to a portion of it is that. But you're the one that's setting that terms. And if you're a good negotiator, you could probably get a higher percentage. If you're a good negotiator, maybe you charge them 7% and you keep 4%, you pay the buyer's agent 3%. As the representative of the seller, you're the one in control of this. You're the one in control of what the commission rate is for the transaction. You're the one in control of how much you're getting paid in this transaction. And not only are you in control, it's less amount of time it is, because yes, there is more time and effort required up front typically with a seller than there would be with a buyer. With a buyer, most of the stuff is on the back end. With the seller, most of the stuff is on the front end of your work and effort it is that you're putting in. So you're going there, you're doing the listing appointment, you're pricing the property out at an appropriate price so that it'll sell quickly, you're putting a sign out on the property or paying to have a sign put out on the property, you're putting some marketing out, you're putting marketing together, you're bringing a photographer in, a videographer maybe, and you're going through and you're doing all the stuff to market the property. And yes, especially if you're paying to have the post put in, you're paying to get a photographer and a videographer and all this other stuff, that's upfront cost that you're going to have when you're initially doing this listing. And that's what scares a lot of people away from listings. But really you're trading in all that extra time for a little bit of money up front, and especially if maybe you're the photographer yourself and you're really a real photographer, you actually know how to take pictures well, you've studied that stuff and you're good at it. I'm not talking about that you're taking your iPhone X or whatever iPhone it is that you've got and you're using the little camera that's in there because you're like, oh, this is the best camera ever. No, it's not. The photographers that got the great big expensive multi-$1,000 cameras are the ones that have the best cameras and that will take the best pictures, because that does make a big difference. But I digress. You're paying for these services, so it does cost you a little bit of money up front. But the listings are really the gold mine, because you could close 3 in the same amount of time for the buyer. So let's say you've got 3 $300,000 listings, 8 hours of time for each one, that's 24 hours. So in that same 24 hours that you're going to close one $300,000 buyer at 3% commission across all of these, you'll make $9,000 off of that buyer. And off of the 3 sellers that you worked with, also selling each at $300,000, each paying 3% commission, you'll make $27,000. $27,000 versus $9,000. A bit of a difference, I would say, right? That probably makes it worth the little bit of extra cost you have up front, a little bit more time and effort it is that you put in up front. And hey, look, even if it takes, let's say it takes 12 hours. Let's say you're maybe a little bit slower than the average. That's fine. 12 hours versus 24 hours, you can still get 2 of those done. That's $18,000 versus $9,000 with the same levels of transactions. So listings are really a place it is that you want to tap into. Until you're so busy that you don't have time to work with buyers, you don't want to turn away buyers. And even if you get busy where you can't work with buyers, you hire somebody who can work with buyers and you cut them in on a percentage basis of this. And you start building out a real estate team. But what you want to chase after, ideally, are listings. Buyer's market, seller's market, I don't care what type of market it is, listings are always good. It's always going to take less time with the listing if it's priced appropriately. If you don't price the listing appropriately, now there's a lot of ways you could go wrong with a listing. There's a lot of ways you go wrong, a lot of ways this might end up taking longer than 8 hours of your working time, a lot of ways where this could maybe not even sell. So that's why you do have to be smart about this. You do have to know what you're doing, and that's why you want to go onto our Success Center and search for listing appointments so you get a better understanding of that. And now everything that I've just given you is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the tiniest little bit of what's available. We've got over 100 hours of video on our Success Center. That's going to take you a lot of time to get through, especially when you have to go through a couple of them a few times to really get the full gist out of everything. Even if you've watched some of these episodes before, I urge you to go back and rewatch them, rework with the business plan calculator. If you're studying for your license exams, absolutely make sure you check out the doc stamps, the transfer taxes, the property taxes, as well as all the other exam prep stuff that we've got on our Success Center with the Ask the Instructor episodes. Definitely understand what an open house is and how to actually monetize this, because if you open up an open house and you didn't do anything to try to tell people to come to the open house and you just put out a sign and you just sit there and you're sitting there waiting for people to show up at your open house, and then they show up and say, hey, welcome to the open house, let me know if you have any questions, and then you're just kind of kicking back watching YouTube TV or watching something on your phone and not paying attention to the buyers walking in there, that's the wrong way to do an open house. So you've got to know how to do and execute all of this effectively. You don't want to go into real estate with trial and error. Trial and error gets very expensive, and unless you've got unlimited budget to test trial and error, and you're going to be a real estate scientist trying to find what works, but you've got all this funding from maybe some sort of university or something to go out and do these ridiculous tests to find out what's the best, maybe then do trial and error if you've got nothing better to do with your time. But if you want the fast track to actually making money, the fast track to actually closing deals, the fast track to actually helping people buy and sell their homes, you've got to be trained on the right things to do. And that's why we have so much content at our Success Center. Not only to help you pass your real estate exams, but also plan for your success in the real estate industry. So definitely check that out. It's our hub for all of this content that we have, videos, articles, calculators, so much information. The best thing you can do is put your email in there, and then you're going to get notifications every time it is that we go live, so that way you don't miss any of these episodes of Ask the Instructor, State of Real Estate, or anything it is that we send out. You're able to get that and take in like a sponge all of that content it is that we're giving out. So definitely go check that out. Again, that's tampaschool.com/success. Make sure you put this in at the end in all lowercase if you're wondering, just all lowercase, tampaschool.com/success. Matter of fact, if you search for Tampa School of Real Estate Success Center in Google, you'll get a whole page of listings of all of these episodes and a bunch more that will help you get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry, that'll help take your real estate business to the next level. And the reason why we do all of this is because we want to see you successful in the real estate industry. If you're not successful in the real estate industry, that's a reflection badly on us. Because you go tell your friends and family, oh, don't do real estate, that's terrible, there's no way to make money in there. No, there's plenty of ways to make money. You just have to do it correctly. You just have to know what it is that you're doing. You have to know the appropriate steps to take. But again, know. You have to know. You don't know what you don't know. And it's amazing. I still am amazed every single day. As long as I've been around real estate, almost my whole life I've been around real estate, I learn new things every single day. The industry is constantly changing, and every person that's at the top of their game in real estate that I've ever talked to, they agree with me 100%. There's always new information to be learned. And the more it is that you learn, the more it is that you could apply and grow your real estate business. So make sure you check out our Success Center, tampaschool.com/success. If you're interested in getting your real estate license, give us a call. Our phone number is 813-928-0106. Again, that's 813-928-0106. You can also text us at that number. You'll see that right below there. We've got advisors standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way it is that they can. You can also check out our website, tampaschool.com. If you're studying for your real estate exams and you want our kind of narrowed down, streamlined strategy to help you pass your exams on the first try, make sure you check out passfirsttry.com. If you want to figure out what it takes to get your real estate license, go to licensefl.com. If you don't want to go to all these different links I've been sending you, just go to tampaschool.com. It's got everything there. Your one-stop shop for everything it is that you need to be successful in real estate. That's all I've got for you guys today on our 1-year anniversary of Ask the Instructor. We've been doing these episodes for 1 year now, and we're going to continue doing them for the next year, and so on and so forth. As long as the Tampa School of Real Estate is in existence, we're going to be here every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, helping you better understand the technical side of the real estate industry. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being loyal viewers over the last year, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for next week's episode of Ask the Instructor.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.